Welcome to Scholastic Support Saturdays with your host, author April Gabriellé.
Have to ask Philip. You guys have to know that I met Thelma here when I worked at San Diego State. But I always have to ask Philip, how did I meet you? So my son was in the sciences, and he was struggling. I think it was his first year, maybe, right? And he always tells me, you met, he says, I tell him, how did you meet Thelma? He said, you introduced her to me at a dinner.
Yes, that's
What
right.
he said.
Yes. I want to say it was maybe a BSSO.
It was, and he was there. And this is the thing, too, I want to say to parents. You know, parents always say that you don't have to really help your kids when they're in college. You don't have to help them navigate. Philip would have sat right there. If if I had not met you and said, Philip, you need to go talk to her, he would have sat there. I don't know, maybe divine.
Sometimes it's just that one little step, that one introduction, and then the students take it from there. But I do get some parents that are helicopter parents from before the student gets here as a freshman, and then they're not doing things, but to give them that introduction, and then they take it from there.
They take the ball.
But sometimes that's what they need.
That's what they need, that push. And he was so shy, and I used to say, even BSSO, he would come to school, and he would stress out, and he would come home, and he'd be stressed out. And I said, why don't you meet people? Why don't you, I know you're extremely shy, but Phil, you're going to have to be friendly.
By the end, he wasn't shy anymore.
Girl, he ain't shy no.
His picture is still on my wall, one of the summer programs.
Oh, it is?
I can't remember which year he was.
So he was 2012.
Oh.
Yeah, he graduated 2012.
So that means he was in the summer, like 2008. One of the pictures up there.
Okay.
But it's easy to spot him, which is also sad because he's one of the few African-American males in the sciences.
I'm so glad you said that. And you know one thing he learned, Thelma? He said in one of his classes, I think maybe the higher up classes, he might have been 10, 15 students in the class, right? Maybe, is it 300 level or 400 level class, whatever, high up. And he said that he purposely sat up front.
Yeah, good.
And I said, good for you, because your teachers need to know that you're there and they want to see you and make the effort. So that's a good thing. But past that, how long have you been doing this? How long have you been, did you used to work for Robert Good?
I did.
I think I remember you.
I worked, that's my first job here, 22 years ago.
At the Mesa Project?
I was his office assistant.
Do you remember me? Let me tell you what, look at it. I'm trying to remind you. I said I was going to do this. Okay, so I worked for the foundation.
Okay.
And then I came over there to help in the office. And I kind of remember you like having an office to the side. I was directly in front of I think his assistant wasn't there anymore. And I helped also when you had the Mesa activity. Yeah, we had shirts. Justin had shirts. I told Philip, I said, I think Thelma worked for Robert Good.
I did.
How many years ago was that?
That was when I first started. Well, and then I collaborated with him. So I started here in '93, so 22 years ago.
Okay.
And I worked with him my first year. And then under him, so I was his assistant. Then from there, they opened a spot for an advisor in the sciences. And that's what I wanted to do because my degree is in science from UCSD.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to help students in the sciences be successful, to get to whatever they wanted to do, whether it was medical school, graduate school, high school teacher, work in industry. I just wanted to see them be successful. So I applied for that. So I left working with Robert, though we collaborated because I still work for Mesa.
Right.
I just didn't work under the pre-college umbrella.
Okay.
So I still interact with him until he left the campus. Yeah.
I know.
And once in a while, I still see him.
So tell me about your upbringing. I mean, so what made you want to get involved with the sciences?
Growing up, I always wanted to be a doctor, a pediatrician.
That's what Tyler wants to do. Okay.
I think every student who's interested in science, that's all they see, though, is to be a medical doctor. They don't know about research, or now they have these shows, CSI and criminologists and that stuff, where you can be a PhD in criminology or in psychology.
That's exciting.
Yes.
Forensic psychology and all that. Yeah, that sounds exciting.
But me, it was a pediatrician. But then, so always, I'm going to be a doctor. And of course, my parents, I was the youngest of 6.
Okay.
My parents didn't go to college.
Okay.
One of my siblings before me went to college but dropped out. He went to UCSD.
Oh, wow.
So I was actually the first to go and complete the degree, even though I was the youngest of 6. And my parents always pushed education. They lived in the projects in New York.
Right,
before we moved to California. So my dad, he was an engineer, but he got his training through the military.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't have a degree in engineering, but
Okay.
education was always really important. And
Right.
because us being an African American Hispanic family, there was hardly on our block.
So
We
you
were the
had
only
both.
ones that looked like us.
Right.
Yeah. And it was like,
Right.
and
Right.
my dad was all my kids are going to college. So
Okay.
me, I was like, oh, no, I want to meet someone and get married
Oh, yeah.
and then be a doctor.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh. Always said
My dad said you can get married when you graduate from college.
Amen, Daddy. I'm so for girl power.
That's what he did, and that's what I did. I waited until I graduated from college. But the pediatrician went to the side when my brother-in-law cut his arm and all this blood was everywhere. They're like, oh, you want to be a doctor, you want to help, and this was Thelma.
That's what I'm trying to tell my daughter. No, I'm not trying to discourage
Yeah.
her, you know, from it, because I actually told my doctor the other day. I was at the doctor, and then she always asked about the kids. And I said, I keep telling Tyler, really pay attention that you want to be a doctor. And I said, are there things that you guys don't? She says, well, I know one thing they don't do with us. They don't talk to us about, like, if somebody dies, one of your patients, or like you said, or you got to come across an issue that you thought you could handle. So they have little groups of friends that are doctors that will vent to one another. And so she said, but let her go ahead and just keep pursuing it.
Yeah.
And just, but yeah, I think that's important, Thelma.
And it's always good to have options and ideas. So if I don't become a doctor, what else can I do with science? What would I want to do? What what kind of opportunities are out there? I mean, we definitely need medical doctors of color also.
Right.
Because we're few. We're more in there than the PhD, but very few. So, and females also.
Right, and females.
But
So
it just wasn't for me.
how was the program at UCSD when you went, though? Was it predominant? Was there, like you said, minorities were scarce?
Yeah,
Females?
someone said, ooh, either you're really smart or affirmative action really works. Nothing would piss me off more. I'm like, I was really smart. I was an honor student in high school, but when I got there, they're like, oh, I see affirmative action at its best.
That is so wrong.
So, because that was UCSD 25
Right.
years ago. And you hear
Right.
stories now.
I know. That's what I said. They
25 years
still have that
ago.
reputation, right?
And it was very competitive. It was a competitive environment. Everybody was
Okay.
like, I'm going to be the best, so I'm not going to form a community and study with you and help you because I want to beat
It's
you.
me against you. That's sad.
So I would go to school, take my classes, and I would leave. I didn't really, I had my
Oh, wow.
one friend from high school who went there, and then we hung out together. And
So you
once-
studied on your own? You didn't do study groups?
No, and I changed out of pre-med to psychology because I
Okay.
realized I just wanted to work with people.
Yeah,
So I switched to psychology. I didn't do that. I wasn't the best student.
Right.
I liked what I did, but I was like, I don't like it here.
Oh.
I'm going to do the minimum, and I'm going to
You're
get out
out.
and graduate so I can get married.
Oh, goodness, that's okay, I
know.
guess.
I tell my daughter, don't listen to mom.
Amen.
Because you come out, you have that degree and that GPA, and there's no changing it.
Amen.
So now when I meet with students, I'm stuck with this 2.9. I don't even have a 3. You know, and I always tell students, you want to graduate at 3 because you can't go back
That's
and
what
change
Philip
it.
keeps saying right now. Even though he's been really blessed,
Yes.
he still sits and says that GPA I had in undergrad. But he keeps beating himself up about it, and I wish he would stop doing that part though.
Because also someone's always said it's your failures that make your successes.
That's right. I think it builds a character, and that's one thing I'm gonna talk about with avoiding the cracks of the achievement gap. I always want to tell people my kids weren't the smartest kids. They were good kids, and they got good grades, right? But they weren't like people think they were just these wonderful A students, and you know,
4.0.
yeah, 4.0. Not at all. But I was telling the counselor one day, I said, I think what mattered though is when the rubber met the road, they put in the work, right? And so it shows today, right? So everything they're doing today and achieving today is because they put in that hard work, and it looks familiar to them. Different than, like they said, you get people who go to universities who have 4.0s in high school who don't even finish.
No.
Right?
They can't adapt. No.
They're not at all, right? So that's the other thing. So, okay, so you left Robert Good, you came over here to the sciences. So you've been here for how many years?
This is my 22nd year.
22nd year? When you
love it.
retiring?
I know.
You never want to be the director or anything? You never you pursued?
Well, that's one thing. So I really should have pursued an advanced degree because I have my bachelor's. I don't have a master's
You have a
degree.
master's, okay.
So many of the director's positions, the master's is minimum requirement, and I don't have that. I tried to go back to school once, and then, sorry, ladies, do not follow my example. I got pregnant.
Right.
My second child, my daughter, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to take the GRE on Saturday. Oh, and I'm due September. That's when school starts.
My
I can't do
God.
it all. And now I meet students who have 2 and 3 kids and work and do it all. So
Ain't
that
that
was my
something?
excuse. So there's really no excuse.
There's no excuse if you want to pursue
Yeah.
it. But yeah, and I do think support though is really important
Yeah.
for young mothers. Though I really do. I think that for real. So right now, back to the story how Philip, my son, met Thelma. And you remember my son is now getting his PhD, and I really attribute a lot of this, her help to here at the program, because she was this go-to person for him on campus, and I loved it. When he had problems with calculus, you put him in that what was that program?
The Lewis
LSAMP program, right?
Lewis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation.
Okay, Lewis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation. Yeah, okay.
It's funded by the National Science Foundation, and it's nationwide.
It is.
So in some states, it's called another kind of app. It's always Alliance for Minority Participation, but it may mean Texas. Texas has one, Texas Alliance for Minority Participation.
Oh, but it's the same.
New Mexico, but it's the same idea, and it's trying to get underrepresented students who study the STEM fields. They may start as a STEM major, but many of them don't graduate with a STEM degree. They get to calculus, and it's like, this is hard. Maybe I'm not meant to be this. So what we do with LSAP is encourage them, this is just a class. This is not going to be your whole life. We just find a way to get through it and keep going. But sometimes they'll meet professors who are like, well, if you can't do math, maybe you shouldn't be an engineering or science major. I'm like, this is one class. You can't change their future based on one class.
Amen. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
No, that's really good to hear. Because I think a lot of his friends start off with stuff like this. Even one of my students that used to work for me, and she dropped out.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Are you kidding me?
We've had a couple that changed to, oh, you know what? Instead of computer science, I'm going to go to business and do management or information systems, because there's no calculus.
There's no calculus.
No science.
But there's statistics.
Yeah. So I'm like, but if it's really what you want to do, even if you try and fail the first time, try again.
Try again. That's right.
Because you're going to do it the rest of your life.
That's
if
right.
you don't like it, you're in
That's
trouble.
right. And that's what he did. And when he got into the program that summer, I think it was right, and he took calculus, and you guys gave him a stipend, right? $300. You gave him a book, and you gave him that expensive calculator, and he was in heaven. And he ended up getting a B, I think, in the class, right? But he did say the class was predominantly engineering majors.
Yes.
But it did wonders for him. I was so happy to see him happy out of that.
That's something, too, we try to empower the students, because biology majors, they have a separate calculus. But sometimes it's not taught too well.
Right.
So I say, take the engineering one. And the student's like, engineering? I'm not an engineering major. I'm like, no, because
engineering calculus?
The calculus for engineers.
Okay, now why is that?
Because it's just calculus. In the calculus for life sciences, it's like, okay, we're going to learn some kind of math, but you're going to use the computer to make it do this.
Oh,
and it's really not working out math problems.
Oh, wow.
And so it's not problem solving in that way. It's more applied math.
It's more applied math. Okay. I wonder what Tyler's taking. So, from your experience with Philip, of course, and then having that relationship with you that I have as well, I wanted to make sure she also became a part of this. Now, you asked me earlier how's she doing. She loves Monterey. She loves it. I'm the one that's just a little... You know, listen, when I was here at San Diego State, me and Philip talk about this. We complained and complained, but he went away, and I went away, and we said... Thank God for San Diego State. Because you guys are on the ball. When you start comparing yourselves to other universities, like even watching my daughter go to Monterey, I am just so disappointed. I'm disappointed in that the right hand doesn't know that the left hand.
That's
frustrating. So when I told her when she first went there, I think between you and Philip, she made contact with it wasn't the advisor over biology, it was something else, and she asked, is there an LSAMP program? Philip even helped to ask. They said no. Okay, so she's going through her first year. I said, I just don't believe they don't have something for you guys. What's going to happen to you down there? I'm so scared. Now, she does better math than Philip did, right? She loves statistics. She gets A's and B's in statistics and all that. And she loves it. Still she struggles, but she loves it. Finally, when I sent you the email or the Facebook message, I said, Thelma, I told her, is there an LSAMP program in Monterey Bay? And you said yes and gave me the contact. Listen, we contacted Holly Unruh. She was really nice.
Oh, good.
She says, we've been here.
Yes.
Then why doesn't the biology department, how come the advisors don't know?
There's a lot of people at San Diego State that don't know we have an LSAP.
How long have you been here?
This LSAP has been here since 1994, so 21 years. There's some that.
Do you take that personal? As your in your position?
What it is, because that program's just for this small group of students. It's not, and it's for remedial students, right?
Are you serious? Oh, I've never heard that. I did not know that.
A lot of them, when they see minority, they equate it with remedial.
Remedial. We're going to really talk about this. We're going to have a good conversation about this. It's minority and remedial, one and the same. Isn't that amazing?
Or an at-risk population. You work with an at-risk population. I said, I work with scholars.
And I hope you use my son as an example.
Right? These students
are you
go
kidding
on
me?
to graduate school, medical school.
Amen. Oh my goodness. I never heard. I'm glad I didn't hear that before. I'm glad I've never heard that. Now, is the program open to other kids besides minorities? Is there
low
white
income,
kids? Okay.
First generation.
Okay. So low income and first generation kids.
Students
Okay.
with disabilities, veterans.
Oh, definitely. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, wow, veterans too, huh?
Because they have to adapt to coming back to school.
That's true too.
It's different. They may have gone way before and they're coming back and now, okay, I already know what I'm doing. I just need to know how to get this degree so they know I know what I'm doing.
There you
You're
go.
right.
There you go. Oh, I didn't know that either. So that's good too. Okay, so now tell me the difference between, so the program you work with Mark.
Also.
Now what is Mark?
Maximizing access to research careers.
Okay, I'm gonna write it down later, but go ahead.
And it used to be minority access to research careers.
Now how long ago was that? Did it change?
It just changed April of this year by the National Institutes of Health.
Really? National Institute of Health changed it. Okay, so tell us about that program.
So that's a great program. I love that one. It is also a smaller group of students because the funding is tremendous. It's to get students from junior year, their last 2 years, to go directly to PhD program. No masters in between, to prepare them and make them competitive to go straight to a PhD program, like yourself.
Like Philip did. And people kept saying, I didn't think you could do that. I was like, yeah, you could do that, right?
You know you have to get a master's.
No, you don't.
And it's just knowing, and then some students, whether they're first generation minority, their parents may have not even gone to college or not to a PhD program, so they don't know. I had a student say, they marked, I want an MD. I said, oh, you want to be a medical doctor? And the student said, no, I want a master's degree. That's what he thought MD stand for, master's degree, and not medical doctor.
Oh.
So sometimes it's just, they just don't know, and they're like, wow, I didn't know that. Or PhD, only if I want to do philosophy, I get a PhD. I go, I know it's a doctor of philosophy, but no, they have them in all areas. And they're like, I didn't know that.
Isn't that amazing? So you think those of us who've been in academia long enough, or those who pursued higher education, kind of are more familiar with all that than those who
I'll
not?
say things and students look at me, I'm like, okay. Let me break it down, because I just assume,
Oh my goodness. Now, so the MARC program, is that also, it's research based, but is that also for people who want to become doctors, physicians?
If they want to be the physician scientist, which is they have both an MD and
PhD.
a PhD.
That's
both
like Philip's boss. Okay.
And so that's a 9-year, after your bachelor's, that's 9 more years.
Really? I'm trying to talk him into that. I'm trying to talk Tyler into that too. But Tyler wants to do physician. Pediatrician.
So sometimes tell her to think about if she wants to know what's going on with the body, with the drugs you're prescribing.
That's what I was thinking.
Where do they come from? Why do they work? How do they interact? That's the research.
That's
side
the research
of it.
aspect.
So if someone asks, you know how people now are saying, well, why this drug? What's it going to do to me? And well, this is what it states as side effects. But as a MD, PhD, you could say, well, research has been done, and this is why it does it. This is how it interacts in your body.
I like that because that's why I was telling Philip about his boss. I mean, being a medical doctor and a PhD, I said, think about the information he has to give his patients.
Yes.
Right? Think about the research he does on the side. Girl, I think it should be qualification for every doctor.
To know why they're prescribing these
why they're prescribing what it does to the body. So, I mean, from that, we were trying to, she's still again, so she's like, she definitely wants to be a pediatrician. We're hoping that next year she has opportunity to do the stipend. There's a program in Texas.
Oh, okay.
Is what she's trying to gear up for the research part.
For Philip, he's in the PhD, but if your daughter goes directly to an MD, PhD, and is accepted, it's a fully paid for ride.
Are you serious? Why? Because she's a minority, or because that's just the program?
Because it's the MD, PhD, and we have very few. It's like
Are you serious?
0.5% of the population. And so it's funded by the National Institutes of Health to have medical scientist training programs like that.
Okay. I'm going to talk to her about this.
PhD, so the track is you go to medical school for 2 years.
Oh, you do?
You go to medical school first, then you go to the PhD, and it's at the same school, but you
Okay.
stop, doing the medical school part. You do PhD, then you do your residency, and that's why
With
it's
the
9
PhD?
years. When you finish the PhD.
Oh,
after
then you do
defended.
residency.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna let her know about this. And along with this, you can still teach,
Oh, definitely.
right?
Yes.
Still, you can still teach.
So we have
Okay.
one, Dr. Chris Brown, who is a former president of the BSSO here.
Oh, really?
Now, Chris Brown, not the, musician.
Not Chris Brown.
Run it.
Sorry, Chris.
But he has an MD, PhD. His PhD
Okay.
portion is in biomedical engineering.
Really? Scared of him.
He's here now as a transplant surgeon at, it's either Scripps or Sharp.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh,
He
my
just moved
God.
back he was at USC,
Uh-huh.
and he's a transplant surgeon here in San Diego now.
And he's at UCSD, you said, you think?
Mhm.
Oh,
It might
scared
be
of
there
him.
or Scripps.
I am scared of that.
He's amazing. He was in our MARC program here.
He
at San Diego
was?
State.
Oh, my goodness.
And his wife teaches
She
high
teaches
school
here?
science. No, she teaches at San Ysidro High School.
She does.
She just started this
I'm
year.
going to have to talk to her. I'm going to go interview her.
Very.
Because she's kind of close to where I'm at. So and I'll let you know if I need to
Yes.
contact. Yeah, that's really, really excellent. So this is a good path. You see how you just kind of, Thelma just kind of laid out a path for me helping my daughter. But this also shows you what you can ask the advisors. Even before your students come to the university, you can call her up and you can ask her these questions. But I think that's what's important, that students have the objective, but like you heard her say, a lot of them still don't understand. But she gives them a pathway. And that's what you help Philip with as well. Like you said, you have all these other options, and it never has to be no when you're a good student, right?
Right.
And that's where he is right now.
And what's great about Philip is he took advantage of them. I tell lots of students about these opportunities,
And
but
they
it's
don't
their
do it?
follow through. No.
Oh.
So I was talking to Elaine about the ERN STEM. That's the conference Philip went to and
Yeah, I
won
thought
the
so.
award.
It sounded familiar. He won that award. That
He was
sounds
the one
familiar.
year where two students got to go. Since then, it's been only one because students aren't applying.
Why?
They just don't think how will it benefit me, or I have finals, or they put it to the side.
They don't see the long run down.
Yeah.
They don't see the networking opportunities either. They don't see all that. That's really sad. They really should. That was when I had to fight for the university, put him on the.
Yes, I remember.
I was so angry.
And sometimes you gotta do it to show that, because I'm always saying on the main website, okay, it's the basketball
It's always
team.
athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here you got, like you just said, there's not that many African American males who are involved in PhD, and he wins an award, and he was nowhere. A national award in STEM, right?
Yes.
In STEM and sciences, and the university didn't put him. I had to call. See, that's nothing parents anyway. That's advocating on behalf of your children.
Yes.
Remember I said that. Okay, so what do you think is important then for new students coming on board? Because you do go out and speak, right, to high schools and stuff?
So during, they have lots of different orientations. So I try to speak to orientation when they come here. We have that one.
Science?
Science, usually science or STEM.
Okay.
So we have the pre-college MESA, which is high school students in the MESA
program. Oh, yeah, those programs. Okay.
I speak to them. We have the Compact Scholars, which is I speak to them.
Okay.
And so they're, you see them going, oh my gosh, so much information.
Right.
And they're really, and so later on, they get here, and a year later, well, you said something about, you spoke to me when I was an incoming freshman, but it was just so much information.
I can see that.
And so I just say, well, what are you interested in? And then we go from there.
Okay.
What I encourage students to do is access their resources.
Right, that's my big thing.
Find out where it is. Who knows this?
Right.
And if you only know one person, and maybe they're not in science, maybe they're in history, ask them, do you know anyone in the sciences?
That's right.
Because I get students who are science majors and their sibling is something else. They're like, well, my sibling wants to study criminal justice. What do you know? I said, that's not my field, but I have a colleague. Why don't you try this person?
There you go. There you go. And then so, is there anything in addition that you think would be necessary for parents who are, because I'm big right now on parents as their children are little, right?
Support them. Just don't put your fears on them, because if you feared math,
I never told my kids.
Yeah, see?
Girl, I never told my kids I did horrible in math, because that's right.
This don't get it. They'll come, Mom, I have problems with my math homework. Oh, I can't help you. Ask your brother.
I never did that. They know now,
Yeah.
but I didn't tell them when they were growing up that I hated it and it stressed me out.
Because they get that, and then they decide, oh, I'll stay away from math no matter what I want to do.
That's right. That's right.
So it's important, and make school important.
That's right.
If they want to show you a project, or they're interested in this after-school program, or it takes an extra step to go, they want to do the science and engineering fair. Take them, encourage them, if you can. I know it's a struggle for some parents, you know, especially if they work more than one job or it's just them. But encourage them at this young age, because sometimes there's people at the schools who won't.
That's right.
Yeah.
I really like that. Do you see any changes in the future for these programs for minority students?
I'm hoping someday we don't need them.
I know.
It's sad. It's good and it's sad.
Right.
But Mark has been around 40 years, and we've put a small
40
dent,
years?
a small dent in the number of minorities who have PhDs in the
So what are we
sciences.
doing? What are we not? So check this out. Then it can't just be that then. I'm just thinking. Then what are we doing for 40 years? Often they get minority students for the PhD program that could come from like historically black universities, right? Because somebody asked Philip, who was doing some research at the NIH. He's an African American guy doing research on blacks in PhDs and STEM. And he asked him, how did you get here so fast? How did you make it through and get in this PhD program? Because we have students still waiting at their universities for 3, 4, 5 years and can't get into something like this. And she shared with me, she said her experience has been that a lot of the students that come from historically black universities, they can adapt to environments when it's not a lot of them, a lot of us, a lot of them. She has told me about 2 or 3, and Philip has 2, that have left. They either went back home, one was homesick maybe, another one they just didn't feel they could compete, you know, and so I think it's equally important when our kids are growing up that they see more than just themselves.
Yes, that's true.
Right?
What they've told us is anyone can be your mentor. They don't
That's
have
right.
to look like you.
That's right.
But if you, at the, you know, HBCUs, if all your mentors look like you, when you get one that doesn't and you slightly clash, you don't know how to
handle it.
So it's good to have one look like you, but if you could have many mentors come, and they don't, if you're male, they don't have to be male.
That's
they could
right.
be a female. If they're interested in your success, that's your mentor.
That's
right.
right.
Someone
That's
who cares
right.
about how, because you could get one that looks like you and be like,
and not for you. And not for, don't want to do it.
I didn't get no extra help. I'm not helping you.
Exactly.
You do it on your.
That's right. That's right. And that's one thing I can say. I always taught my kids. I mean, even growing up, I mean, we did a lot of things, right? But I also celebrated diversity big time. I mean, I even have friends from Pakistan. We would go have dinner with them. I took Justin to a Buddhist temple. I mean, I just made sure. I used to always say to him, I want you to be proud to walk in any circle. You need to hold your head up. When he's a little boy, I would tell him that. You're going to walk in any circle and you're going to be comfortable. And that's
important.
Yes.
Some aren't.
Yes.
You know, they have a hard time because just like we don't want to walk in where everybody's all Caucasian.
That's true.
So we want it to be diverse so that we can't just all, because when you get to graduate school, there's less.
That's the point. That is the whole point.
So you form a community with those that are struggling through graduate school with you,
right.
whether they look like you or
not.
They're all struggling.
Right.
And there'll be some who will be like, oh, I don't need you, but find those that want to work alongside you and push you and encourage each other.
And I love that because what I find in him and the friends that he's collaborated with, they do have so many similarities, even though they're not the same ethnic background, whatever. But guess what? The conversations are the same.
This is rough.
The
I'm
struggles,
here 12 hours.
The struggles are the same. And I don't know if he told you, but they have cooking groups together. They go to each other's houses.
That's wonderful.
They get together. They go to the movies. They do all types of things outside of that environment. So
good.
that is so. And I went to his. We were invited when I was there last time to his boss's home and met his wife and everything. Just fabulous. And that you're right. Kids need to see. Students need to see. They need to see that it's more about them. It's a bigger world than them. And their circle. Yeah, I agree.
That's great. I'm so glad to hear it.
Yeah. So he's doing really well. He goes, what? I'm working. What? I can show you text message.
That's another thing for parents to understand.
Right.
When oh, well, how come you're not coming home for Grandma's birthday?
Right.
I have
It is
to
no
finish
joke.
this. My mentor wants me to finish this. I can't.
It
come
is
home,
no
you know?
joke. It is so funny because I can tell you 10 million text messages I get in a day. And I'm always having something to say, right? Always texting, always, what? I'm working. What? I'm working. Is it important? And I can hear it.
Just like Philip.
You can hear his deep voice, right?
Yep.
I'm working.
Okay,
What else? What is it? What is it? I say, Philip, what are you doing tonight? I'm working. I'm doing research. And when I'm not doing research, I'm watching TV. I'm doing what I do to relax. What do you want,
He's
Mom?
watching his Doctor, what is that? Doctor Who.
Loves Doctor Who, loves all that mess, right? So I'm glad he has those outlets, and I'm still so proud of him. And Tyler, so he always says, I'll tell you later, this is a little secret he has about me and my daughter. He says it's a girl's thing, right? He always says, oh yeah, of course, Tyler, of course. He said, of course you're more. I said, just in both of you, but Tyler, I'm so excited for her too.
She's the baby too, and
that's right.
The youngest, like, okay.
Yes. Yeah, and I love it's not a competition, but I'm going to have conversations that, and you'll probably love this, when they talk to each other about the sciences.
Yes.
Girl, I'm totally like...
And it may end up, well, I'm an MD. I'm the real doctor. Oh, I got a PhD. Can you do this? I know about this.
Right. And to watch them now talk about, because she'll say, Mommy doesn't understand. Philip, Justin, you know when we're taking this class. And I just sit there and look at her. I was like, don't, look, I understand some things.
Apoptosis and RNA. And I'm like,
I don't understand that. But yeah, they get to talking. So it's funny to watch that dialogue. Yes. But I am proud of both of them. I really am. I am. And I can't think of anything else to ask you, Thelma. And I'm sure I'm going to go back and go, God dang it, I should have asked her this and asked her that. You told me about your history here at the university.
It's just where, all I can say for parents is just listen to your student, your child. And,
Amen. I agree.
And support them on what they want to do.
I totally agree.
Because myself, my daughter's in college. She's a junior at Long Beach.
Now, where's she at? Long Beach?
Long Beach.
Okay.
I was trying to sway her to research. She wants to be a psychiatrist, which means a medical degree. I'm like, research. I had her tour lab. She goes, Mom, I don't want to do that. I was not listening.
Yeah,
so you just have to, you can't be, I get a lot of students, why do you want to be a medical doctor? Oh, my parents want me to be a medical doctor.
Oh, yeah, you got to do what you love.